Welcome back to the Daily Mastermind. My name is George Wright III with your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and education so that you can create your ultimate destiny. Man, what a beautiful week. Today's Friday, and I'm excited to give you the second part of a concept I was talking to you about yesterday. Yesterday, we discussed the power of persistence in helping you to create your ultimate destiny. We also discussed the fact that persistence is the hidden key to unlock and actually open the doors to massive wealth and prosperity in your life, and that it will, without it, it will not give you what you need to achieve success. So persistence is key. But today I want to continue this thought by talking about the second part of this, which is persistently studying and eliminating the biggest enemies or challenges you will face in your life that are keeping you from success. And we're going to talk about indecision, doubt, and fear. So I'll go back to the words written by Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich. And I'll remind you that Think and Grow Rich has been around over 80 years and has had over 100 million copies. That's right, 100 million copies sold. Most every successful person, entrepreneur, individual that I've met is familiar with the book and studies its concepts. So we're going to go back to that as a guideline. And I want to talk to you a little bit today about the second part of persistence. And this is what Napoleon Hill says about it. You'll also understand the necessity of persistence in carrying out instructions. It begins with study, analysis, and understanding of three enemies which you shall have to clear out. These are indecision, doubt, and fear. 6 basic fears. So he says there are 6 basic fears with some combination of which every human suffers at one time or another. Most people are fortunate if they do not suffer from the entire 6. Named in the order of their most common appearance, they are the fear of poverty, at the bottom of most of one's worries, the fear of criticism, the fear of ill health, the fear of loss of love of someone, the fear of old age, and the fear of death. Now, I'm going to stop for a second. I'm going to go back and read those one more time for you because I think we all suffer from these, but these are enemies to your success, and you need to find some ways to get through them. We'll talk about that. It's the fear of poverty, the fear of criticism, what people are thinking, the fear of ill health, the fear of loss of love, the fear of old age, and the fear of death. He goes on to say, fears are nothing more than states of mind. One's state of mind is subject to control and direction. Don't forget that. Man can create nothing which he does not first conceive in the form of an impulse of thought. So following this fact may be explained by the statement that every human being has the ability to completely control his own mind. And with this control, obviously, every person may open his mind to the thought impulses which are being released by other brains, or close the doors tightly and admit only thought impulses of his own choice. That's real key, right? And he goes on to say some solutions, which are: master the fear of loss of love by reaching a decision to get along without love, if that's necessary. Kill the habit of worry in all of its forms by reaching a general blanket decision that nothing which life has to offer is worth the price of worry. And I'm going to take a second there and just comment on this, because I think it's not just what we do with our thoughts, but our perception. And sometimes it's easier to slightly change our thoughts rather than to try to eliminate certain thoughts. So when you have fears of uncertainty, then you can create and define what creates uncertainty in your life. Because if you feel like uncertainty is a bad thing, that's not going to help you, because uncertainty is the area you grow in. What you need to do is you need to redefine it to say, I've been able to handle everything in my life so far, and a lot of things have happened, and I've always gotten through them. So I will always be able to get through areas of uncertainty, as an example. Now I want to continue back on with Napoleon Hill. He says, you may control your own mind. You have the power to feed it whatever thought impulses you choose. So with this privilege goes along the responsibility of using it constructively. You are the master of your own earthly destiny, just as surely as you have the power to control your own thoughts. You may influence, direct, and eventually control your own environment, making your life what you want it to be. Or you may neglect to exercise the privilege which is yours to make your life to order, thus casting yourself upon the broad sea of circumstance, where you will be tossed hither and yon like a ship on the waves of the ocean. Now, I mentioned this in another podcast, but remember that you have the power to create your life. But don't assume that if you don't use this power that you're not creating your life, because your life is either being created proactively by you or it's being randomly created in ways that you will not like, believe me. And if you let the environment influence your life, your mind is going to pick up these things whether you're consciously doing it or not. So the problem most of us don't understand is that our mind and our lives are being shaped. They're just not being shaped by us. So make no mistake, your life is being shaped, but you have to become more proactive because as we talk about eliminating these fears, they're constantly being inundated into your mind. You've got to be proactive about shaping your thoughts to deal with them and handle them. So let's go back to Napoleon Hill again. You have absolute control over but one thing, and that is your thoughts. This is the one thing, by the way, I'll just digress for a second. This is the one thing you do have absolute control over. You don't have control over your environment, but he says you have absolute control over but one thing, and that is your thoughts. That is one of the tricks of opportunity. It has a sly habit of slipping in by the back door, and it often comes disguised in the form of misfortune or temporary defeat. Perhaps this is why so many fail to recognize opportunity. Know what you want and have the determination to stand by that desire until you realize it. One of the most common causes of failure is the habit of quitting when one is overtaken by temporary defeat. Every person is guilty of this mistake at one time or another. When riches begin to come, they will come so quickly in such great abundance that one wonders where they've been hiding all of those years. So it's important to realize that you have to be able to continue to persist even in the spite of failure. And he goes on, success comes to those who become success conscious. This is the next thing I really want to highlight. Failure comes to those who indifferently allow themselves to become failure conscious. If you're not becoming success conscious, you're unconsciously becoming failure conscious. That's a strong thought. He goes on, every person who wins in any undertaking must be willing to burn his ships and cut all sources of retreat. Only by doing so can one be sure of maintaining that state of mind known as burning desire to win. Put yourself in those circumstances, right? And that's a burning desire to win essential to success. He goes on, success requires no apologies. Failure permits no alibis. If the thing you wish to do right and you believe in, go ahead and do it. Put your dream across and never mind what they say if you meet with temporary defeat, for they, quote unquote, perhaps do not know that every failure brings with it the seed of equivalent success. Repetition of affirmations of orders to your subconscious mind is the only known method of voluntary development of the emotion of faith. And faith is the eternal elixir which gives life, power, and action to the impulse of thought. Thoughts which are mixed with any of the feelings of emotions constitute a magnetic force which attracts from the vibrations of the other similar or related thoughts. So this is important because he talks about you've got to not only eliminate these areas, these three enemies, which include indecision, doubt, and fear, but he talks about the fact that you have the power in your mind to do so. And you also have absolute control over that one thing, which is your mind. And then he continues by one of the real key principles here, which is success comes to those who create success consciousness. And I can't emphasize enough, if you are not working on your mindset for success, then you are indirectly working on your mindset of failure, because that's what life is going to send us the direction of. So yesterday we talked about the need for persistence. We also talked about the 4 steps for creating persistence and creating and following through with your affirmations. Today, we just added that you need to eliminate those 3 common enemies to your success, fear, indecision, and doubt, by working on your mind. And you can eliminate them by controlling and influencing your thoughts. But the real hidden gem in these thoughts, in my mind, the real hidden gem in these thoughts are through your affirmations. You can do all of the above by creating your affirmations, by being decisive and specific and persistently saying your affirmations and strengthening your faith, because faith is a choice, but belief is a choice too. And over time, your faith will grow. So I would highly recommend that you take this weekend and sit somewhere quiet and slowly and methodically create some powerful statements for yourself in your life, some affirmations, or consciously putting together some programming that you can call affirmations so that you can consistently and persistently add those to your life. I hope this information has been helpful for you, and that it may be something that you can share with others and help them as well. I would love to hear from you. So if you wouldn't mind, please message me on Facebook. It's under George Wright III, or you can send me comments or message me on either the Facebook or Instagram page, which is The Daily Mastermind. So it's just The Daily Mastermind spelled out for Facebook or Instagram. Also, go download the mobile app, and you'll be able to use it this weekend. You get free audiobooks, free ebooks. We also have affirmations, meditation, the blog, podcast, quotes, inspirational quotes. It's all free. And you can use the book Think and Grow Rich in there, as well as many other classics. That's why I created it for you. So please use it. But this is our thought for today. I hope this will guide you into the weekend. My name's George Wright III, and I know that you have greatness inside of you. I know that it's never too late for you to begin living the life that you were meant to live. And I hope you have an amazing weekend. I'll look forward to talking with you next week.